Welcome back to the morning show here on the Arise News channel. Joining us now is Ojy Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Ojy.
Good morning, Dr. Martin. It wasn't your turn to read. You just wanted to call my name, didn't you?
It was. And we were both battling over how excited we were over this segment. It must have been that.
Hello, family. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good. And good morning to you, viewers. We begin What's Trending today here in Nigeria. Yesterday, Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai enrolled one of his sons in a public school. El-Rufai said he had enrolled his son at the Kaduna Capital School in order to lead by example and also show his commitment to fixing the educational sector in the state. Sharing photos from when he went to register his son in the school, El-Rufai, via his official Kaduna government Twitter handle, tweeted, "Reforming the education sector in Kaduna is a continuing struggle against decades of neglect." Kudos to Governor El-Rufai. If you remember, in 2017, he said that he would enroll one of his sons when he turned 6, and he has kept his promise. I think it's amazing that, one of the things that he really wanted to do in Kaduna State was to reform the educational sector, and he has done so. And, one of the statements he made was that he wanted the public school standards to be as high as the private school, so that private schools will just be seen, as luxury if you want to go.
A choice rather than
a necessity in Nigeria. Well, so we'll say kudos.
Well, I don't think anybody will object to the idea of leading by example.
Right.
And showing an example in terms of enrolling your child, in a public school. Because, many Nigerians complain that Nigerian leaders do not know what goes on in the education system.
Yes.
Because their children are sent to school abroad.
Correct.
And hence, they are disconnected from the reality that the majority of Nigerian children face. Those who are out of school, and then those, of course, who are in school, who find themselves in classrooms that are not up to par. They have teachers that are not paid on a regular basis.
Correct.
And they have an environment that is not conducive for learning. So at one level, by enrolling his son in school, the governor of Kaduna State shows good example.
Very good example.
Two, it's also good to see that in spite of his very busy schedule, he still has time for parenting.
Of course,
and
he's
he
a parent.
He went there with his wife to enroll
Right.
his son, So I think in terms of promoting education, that will help. It sends a very good signal.
Right.
But beyond that, this should not end as a publicity stunt. We would like to see a situation where there is a quick transformation in the quality of schools, the welfare of teachers, the quality of teachers, in Kaduna State. You will recall that it was in this same Kaduna State that I think this same governor, asked that an exam be conducted for many school teachers. And
Correct.
It was discovered
yes.
that many of them
could not
even pass,
thousands of them. Correct.
could not even
yes.
pass the same subjects
Yes.
that they claim to be teaching. So
That's
education
correct.
is a priority, and it should be declared an emergency. And incidentally, it's on the concurrent list in the Constitution.
Yes.
So every state governor should take a cue from
That's
this.
exactly
and I
what I
hope
was
that
going to
the young
say.
man, will not only go to primary school in Kaduna State, that he will have his entire education career in Nigeria here. That would be the real message.
The young boy was so cute yesterday in his interview.
Lovely looking boy.
And he said that, he'll miss his friends and his teachers in school, but he had to support his father's goal. So I thought that was really, really cute.
Very moving.
Well,
although some mischievous Nigerians, instead of focusing on the message, they were
I know, I
making
saw a
some
lot of
other
those
comments
on social media. They were just really hilarious, most of them. Really. Well, let's head over to South Africa now, where the Duchess of Sussex and her husband, the Duke of Sussex, is on a humanitarian tour with their 4-month-old son, Archie. Yesterday, the Duchess, alongside her husband, Prince Harry, met with teenage girls at the Women and Children's Center in the Nyanga Township, which is in an area with a high crime rate. The couple were greeted by local musicians and dancers. The Duchess praised the center's work to counter violence against women and children, and she told the teenage girls that she was there with them as a woman of color and as their sister. Her comments come amid a recent spike in violence against women, which has ignited protests in many areas of South Africa.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet,
I'm sorry, that was a wrong shot. That was Greta's stuff that we played there. But, you know, Meghan Markle was amazing at her speech where she, you know, encouraged the young girls at the community there. In that center, they teach girls how to, you know, combat violence. They teach them martial act and all of that, you know, to encourage young girls to be able to defend themselves.
I thought it was wonderful.
Yes, even the president of South Africa has now pledged £6 million to be able to combat violence. If you remember, there were so many violence that happened in the recent times last year. Some girls were kidnapped, some girls, you know, would be killed, and you find them at dump sites in South Africa. So I think that this is a great way to raise awareness, public awareness in that type of crisis that's happening in South Africa right now.
Well, we're hearing that we do have the
we do have the
I saw the video.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's play
listen to the
It's a short speech that she made there, which I thought was very impactful as well.
Each time a woman stands up for herself, without knowing it, possibly without claiming it, she stands up for all women. Now, I know it's not easy, and I know it must feel insurmountable at times, but your commitment to what is right gives all of us hope, especially your brothers and sisters here in your community who need you to continue to shine your light brightly. Your commitment is inspiring, it is energizing, and it is extraordinary. You must keep going. You must know that what you're doing not only matters, it is vital because you are vital. And just on one personal note, may I just say that while I'm here with my husband as a member of the royal family, I want you to know that for me, I am here with you as a mother, as a wife, as a woman of color, and as your sister.
You know, Ojy, that was definitely my favorite part of the...
great outing there for, you know, the Duke and the Duchess of Sussex.
Absolutely.
You recall that they had announced that, you know, their first major holiday will be in Africa, and they're going to visit not just South Africa, but also a number of other countries.
I think the Prince is visiting the other countries. Yes. Meghan is staying in South Africa. And it's her first time in South Africa, which is amazing. But, you
know, conspicuously missing yesterday at that event was Archie, the son, Master Archie Mountbatten Windsor. He would probably have been the star if he had accompanied his parents. But, you know, the messaging about, you know, violence against women, about women empowerment, I think that these are very important topics of engagement for these two members of the royal family. And you can see Prince Harry, since he got married and since he became a father, carving out his own niche, you know, within the royal family. He's no longer in his brother's shadow. No. You know, he's, you know, engaging the world on his own terms, even if as representative of the Queen, you know, his grandmother. So I think it's very nice, but ironically, I mean, this is the same South Africa that many other Africans are worried about
away from
in terms of violence. But you can be sure, of course, that, you know, the couple, you know, will receive very great welcome. Yes. And I saw them, you know, dancing.
And I think that Archie has been given a name too as well, a South African name, which also definitely means the same as Archie in England. Well, another person making a tremendous impact in our society is Swedish climate campaigner Greta Thunberg. Yesterday, Greta made a passionate speech to world leaders that were taking part in the one-day meeting organized by the UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres at the UN. Greta accused them of failing to act on climate change.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet you all come to us young people for hope. How dare you? You have stolen my dreams and my childhood with your empty words, and yet I'm one of the lucky ones. People are suffering. People are dying. Entire ecosystems are collapsing. We are in the beginning of a mass extinction, and all you can talk about is money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
I think this was her most powerful speech, the most powerful speech that I've heard. I mean, I think she was just right on point with her emotion. I mean, I don't know any world leader that would watch that and not have goosebumps. I mean, the German chancellor also has pledged now, and she's raising her pledge to $4 billion to help fight global warming. And I think that she has to just continue with her fight, her Friday for Freedom fight with, all the children in the society to continue to fight for climate change.
We can only hope that her activism will really change the mind
Yes,
of leaders of countries who don't think climate change is such a huge issue.
Like Donald Trump. Apparently, Donald Trump appeared at the conference.
Briefly indeed.
Yes, briefly indeed, which I thought was, a good sign. It means that he is probably, interested in her statements now, Dr. Abati.
Maybe Donald Trump just showed off for photo opportunity.
No,
he spent just about 10 minutes with Vice President Mike Pence, and then moved on very quickly to another meeting on religious freedom. But
yes.
You are quite right. Greta Thunberg has become, a major icon for climate activism, and it's amazing to see, her strength of character, her passion, her commitment on a subject on which many political leaders, do not have any clue.
Yes.
And consistently, she's been speaking out, speaking up, and providing leadership for millions of children, across the world. She says, we will not forgive you if you destroy our future. And, she was quite bold.
You can see the fear in her face as well.
So this is a very
really
strong
worried.
character.
Yes.
And what she's doing is quite impressive. You are also right, some world leaders have already expressed greater commitment.
Yes.
Our own President Muhammadu Buhari, has promised that, we'll do a lot in terms of reduction of carbon emission.
Yes.
By 45% by the year 2030. Jacinta Ardern, Prime Minister of New Zealand, also, expressed commitment. Chancellor Angela Merkel of Germany, French President Emmanuel
Yes, he
Macron.
said international organizations have raised about
another
500
part
million.
of the thing that she did, that Greta Thunberg did, was that she led other children to challenge certain countries, in fact, to sue them, for abusing the rights of children. Because under the Convention on the Rights of the Child, which was signed in 1979, children who feel that they have been abused, on issues of the environment, can in fact take a legal action against particular countries. And some countries identified by these young persons, have been called out. Yes. And I think that is instructive. However, states that did not ratify that convention, like the United States and like China, cannot be sued in any capacity. So on all fronts, from protesting, joining demonstrations, giving a speech at the Climate Action Summit, and also, leading other people to call out countries, you'll find that, Greta Thunberg has become, in her own right, a major leader on the global stage.
We can only encourage her to continue fighting. Well, let's take our final story under sports. The 2019 Best FIFA Football Awards honored the best footballing talent last night in Milan. Barcelona's Lionel Messi won the Best Men's Player. It is the 6th time that Messi had been voted the world's best and his 5th win. The 32-year-old Argentine helped Barcelona win the La Liga and reach the semi-finals of the Champions League. United States forward Megan Rapinoe won the Best Women's Player award. The 34-year-old claimed the Golden Ball for being the best player at the 2019 Women's World Cup, and she has helped the United States win the competition. Completely amazing.
Well,
congratulations to both of them. Twitter was a buzz yesterday. The fight against Messi and Ronaldo was all over social media yesterday, but we're very happy for both of them, and especially Megan, which is her first win.
Exactly.
Really great.